Finally, Zom 100 is here and is finished. Holy fucking shit, did I sound really sick there? I honestly didn't know I was like pretty sick, but yeah, I did feel like shit and my breathing was like really off, so I don't know if it was COVID or whatever the case is. I have no idea.
Shit. Got your ass.
But I was a bit sick, so I did wait a few days. I did procrastinate on top of that, so I am glad I procrastinated, because if I didn't, I would sound really bad. But anyways, Zom 100, woo! Ladies and gentlemen, this has been like a hell of a trip we went on just for waiting for episode to come out, and then the super big delay that had came out when it came to the last 3 episodes. And I even speculated before, I was like, I hope it does not actually happen like how it happens to Karen, where he didn't have any breaks and he was getting overworked. But thank goodness that was actually not the case at all. Apparently just they didn't have like a broadcasting schedule for like lined up, so they just didn't air it at all. It didn't happen on streaming services or nothing. The slightly that did happen when Mappa is over there. I hope that everything is situated over there, and hopefully that does not really happen to any other animation studio. But back on topic, if anything, this is actually one of the shows that I did miss from my 2023 video, where I should probably put it in there, because this is actually one of my favorite shows of that year, right? Where you had all this beautiful things with either the animation where you would have the black and white, and then you would have sometimes the color come on and be replaced for blood, as a really cool and beautiful stylistic choice.
Like and subscribe, it helps.
Or just a really beautiful characterization and character development that happened between all these different characters around the show, and how much influence that he really did put in when it came to other characters that he ran into or across this zombie apocalypse world. And my goodness fucking gracious, the realism in this show, right? Like, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I know it's animated, but my god, that they made it feel really real when it came to certain situations and certain characters where they either be Akira and his being overworked, or just felt like nothing to society, as well as just like a little cog in a big machine that is society at the time. Or Kencho and the ideology of actually following your true dream instead of just doing something else that you're not really happy with, or you realize this isn't the thing you want to do. Even if it's late, go ahead and follow whatever you truly want to do, what is your actual passion in life. Or even the heartbreaking backstory that is Shizuka and her not being able to even have a choice, her just having to follow in someone else's footsteps and not even having the luxury or the choice of a choice in general, and in turn warping into something disgusting that isn't even comparable to your true natural self. But going on and talk about just the new episodes itself, right? Let's go talk about the new episodes. The last 3 episodes were actually phenomenal, right? They did a really good job, like just showcasing what the true villain or the true horrific thing in this whole vast society is now, which is basically humanity. Like, you always see that in a whole bunch of TV shows when it comes to zombies or comic books or whatever the case, whatever media that you want to imply. Like, it's always the people, right? It always at the end of the day becomes the person at the end of the day, because the zombies either are just a nuisance, or the zombies aren't really that much of a problem or issue, or they just die out, and then all you have is left is the people.
What do you mean, you people?
And then you have the most horrific, shitty people around that are just sitting there that are surviving because they're just that fucking horrible. And this new age zombie apocalypse would be a whole lot better if they got like squished out of existence or smashed out of existence. And this literally goes no different for this reverse Zom 100 cast that we have here. And honestly, I don't know their names, and honestly I'm not gonna look up what the fuck their names are, because it's that irrelevant. But I did really like how they got built up pretty fastly, and then they got broken down just as fast, right? Showing that how all their issues basically were easily solved by them fixing it themselves, instead of axing and bitching and whining and moaning the woe is me, instead of actually trying to fix their actual solution to their problems. And really showing how oblivious and self-centered some of these people were when it came to some of the issues. Like, for example, Ponytail Head guy, right? He literally set up fire and a blaze to the place that he worked at, the restaurant he worked at, and they just cries, bitches, and whines and say how unlucky he is, or how bad life has given him as luck, when it's all on him. And the same thing goes for the guy with his family, right? Like, his family, his wife, he generally didn't like really give his family wife a chance. He didn't listen to his wife, he didn't make his wife his world, he didn't like listen and care for her and just do basic husbandly duties. And again, all he did was whine and complain and always blame his wife or always blame his kids, and sort of just walked out in that situation. But one person name that I will bring up, which is the main guy that led this horrific group, right, is Kanta, right? Kanta, he reminds me of like that saying of like,
in high school you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you, dickhead?
Because he's sort of stuck in a nostalgic past, but instead of high school, it's actually all the way back to when he was a kid in the swimming pool, making it himself think that he peaked there, like that was his best time, that was his best life, which is probably, in his opinion, it is. But he had so much more life ahead of him that he chose not to acknowledge, or chose not to actually pursue or go forward with, even when it came to the terms of other people and making relationships and friendships. Also having him be more bitter and more hatred towards others that can accomplish and can actually have friendships relationships or better experiences than when he had in the past, making him want them to have the same thing he had, in turn damning his future and damning himself to an actual better tomorrow. Oh yeah, and also the lady, yeah, she's just like a bitch. I don't know. It's not really much to say about it. What do you want me to say? She's being just like a bitch for like no reason. She should have just like chilled out and just like be like, oh, okay, it is what it is. People walk different pathways of life and people act differently, and then we should act sort of accordingly. Like, there's not really much to it. Like, she was being a bitch. She's definitely like the worst one with the least amount of reasoning for like no reason at all. Also, the fucking fake out was hilarious, dude, with his dad and actually being hemorrhoids he had the whole time. He wasn't like infected, or he wasn't to have like cancer or some shit. I thought he had cancer or he was infected, but I thought more or less the cancer than infected part. But that was hilarious. It was like a fake out. I was like, oh, nah, I just got hemorrhoids. Like, what? What the fuck? Oh yeah, one more thing. The last thing I'll probably say is that I do find it really cool and also funny that we actually finally get a goal. It's not something I was really paying attention to the whole time because everything else on the show was so phenomenal. Like I said before, the animation or the thematic things that happen all throughout the show. But you finally get a goal by the end of the show, which is one, to save humanity, and two, get a doctor for his father with the hemorrhoids problem, right? For me, in my opinion, the show generally only had highs whenever I watched the show, and that's not a title I can really give to a lot of other shows. So I definitely highly suggest that if you have not watched it, go watch Zom 100. You know, you just watch me break down a lot of these characters and a lot of their motivations or what they are. I should highly suggest go watch the show. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.